it does feel like now, Rob, win or lose is the time for him to get out.
Well, there's too much going on at Michigan, Chris. It's like if Jim Harbaugh stays there, he's crazy.
So you think win or lose, he should be out?
Yeah, the writing's on the wall. Like, there's other stuff coming. I mean, that guy, whatever you want to make of it, that coach, Chris, he was on the staff. He was fired. It ain't like nothing went on. Like, you can sit there all you want and act like, if nothing went on, why did he resign, Chris? Why is he not on the coaching staff if nothing happened? Come on.
Right.
You got to be smarter than that. I hear people say that. Oh, no, no big deal. Really?
Yeah, I mean, look, it seemed like something definitely happened. I mean, all the suspension he got, which was 3 games, he accepted it, didn't put up a fight. And, I mean, we saw the guy on sidelines. There's photos of him on the sidelines for other teams. And, I think the best thing you can say, Rob, is that, look, the teams that if we don't know about the previous few years, right? We know about this season. And early in the season, they were playing teams that weren't that good, and it doesn't make it right. But I'm just saying, this is like the best argument you can have, is that they didn't need them against those teams. And then when they got caught, they came back and actually played some really good teams and won. So they're a great team anyway, and they are one of the best 2 teams in the nation. Like, that's the best argument. But the argument of nothing happened, I don't even know how you can make that argument.
I don't either, Chris. But there are people who are making it like nothing happened. And you remember probably the biggest thing was that he wanted his day in court, and then that went away. All right? How did you remember that?
Yeah.
I want due process. I want my day in court. I'm going to fight this, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, something happened, and they showed him some information, Chris, and then what happened? Now, okay,
he didn't need his day.
I'll take the
suspension and like
it. So that's my point, is that
I hear you on that.
Something happened, and they know something happened, and something else is coming down the pipe.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Look, I think either way, if he really wants to coach in the NFL, even if he were in the clear, I think now's the time to do it. Rob, you just said it yourself. I mean, winning the championship would actually be, the pinnacle, right? A school that's been a great football program, but never actually won the championship outright. It would be huge, right? And he would look great despite all the cheating and everything that's gone on. And it would be time for him to go. So I think he should move. Even if they lose, he's still gotten them, to the championship game and to the playoff the last 3 years. And they're clearly like a top 5, 6 program in the country now. And so I think he should move on anyway if he's looking to coach in the NFL. Where do you think is the best fit? We've seen some firings. You've seen Atlanta. Washington is open. Obviously, as I mentioned, the Chargers and the Raiders. I personally, Rob, I like him with the Chargers.
I think that's the best job, Chris. And I know they got some cap things and some other stuff. But when you look at the playmakers they have, Chris, the quarterback in place, that's a team that underachieved. It's not like they don't have anything. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have anything, and you're going there, the cupboard's bare, you'll never win there. That's not the case.
Right.
There were people saying a couple of years ago this team should be going to the Super Bowl. That. Like, that's the kind of talent that they have.
Most people were surprised they didn't make the playoffs. Most people I didn't have them in the playoffs because I just didn't think Brandon Staley would do a good job, and that was true. But most people did have them in the playoffs. And to be honest, Rob, they should be. Talent-wise, they should be a playoff team. And, I think Harbaugh, that, like you said, the thing you want is the quarterback. Because if he went somewhere and never got like a franchise type quarterback, we don't know if he'd have success. It's tough out there when you don't have that franchise quarterback. But if he gets one, then you're halfway there. And like you said, to me, that is definitely the best job. I like that better than the Raiders. Precisely for that reason, right? They don't have a quarterback, the Raiders.
They don't have a quarterback, Chris, and you're already starting with trying to find one and how hard it is. It's just half the battle, like for real. And you're starting with a quarterback, and we talked about it. There's still work to go, like to do there with the Chargers as far as a quarterback position and trying to, get him where he needs to be.
Yep.
Because he had too many turnovers, Chris, we talked about in the fourth quarter and all that kind of stuff. But does the guy have talent and arm strength and all this other stuff? Yeah, we've seen flashes, haven't we?
And I mean, he's been most people have had him as a top 5 quarterback, even with all his flaws, And so, I mean, he's been to the Pro Bowl. And, his numbers are out of this world.
Don't you remember it was a couple years ago they had him ahead of Patrick Mahomes?
Right.
In the preseason. But
yeah.
I'm just saying, that's how much they think of him.
Yep.
Like a lot of scouts and people, and I get it. Size-wise, Chris, he's the prototypical quarterback. Yep. He has a strong arm. Justin Herbert, I get why people salivate over him. Has he lived up all the way to that? No.
He came in, Rob, essentially like C.J. Stroud. I mean, he didn't lead his team to the playoffs, but I'm talking about just adjusting to the NFL right away. First game,
you remember that when Anthony Lynn,
the starting lineup, yeah, because Tyrod Taylor got stabbed by the trainer,
or whatever it was, right? Did the trainer take his wallet, Chris, after he stabbed him? I'm just asking.
And he played against the Chiefs and played great, so. Yeah, I am with you in that the Chargers, I think, is the best job for him. There's some, and you probably heard it, Rob, there's some school of thought out there that Harbaugh is just kind of using the NFL to get, a huge contract from Michigan. Obviously,
there's
he
no
gave
doubt,
up money.
There's no doubt that he wants to stick it to him because, Chris, it's not just the losing of the money. There's an ego thing that you came to me for a pay cut. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care what anybody says. Like, that hurts.
Nah, no doubt.
Right? That hurts.
No doubt. So we'll see. But so who you got tonight? I do have Michigan. I think Washington could give them some problems. This is a high-powered offense that can spread it out. And, Michigan's obviously going to try to push you around. And they were able to push around Alabama, which is, unusual. But Alabama was more, they didn't have as much versatility, let's put it that way, as Washington. So I think it should be a good game. Rob, to me, of course, my daughter went to Michigan, so I'm pulling for Michigan. But really, in these situations, Rob, I feel like you just want a good game. Because we've seen so many college football routes, right?
Where one team shows up and the other team's not prepared. Yeah. You remember when we were growing up, or we were younger, that's what the Super Bowl used to be. The Super Bowl used to be
It was
awful,
several years where
right?
It was just, you obviously had some good ones, but
there were a lot of blowouts where it was like, oh my God, like the Denver Broncos used to give up a 50-piece, right? Like a 50-piece.
Yeah, Dallas destroyed them, scored 50-something points. Washington destroyed them.
Right.
This was in the 80s, in Elway. And so you had some bad – we saw one recently, Rob, with Seattle destroying Peyton Manning and the Broncos.
Yep.
It's just terrible when that happens. So we'll see what happens tonight. I got Michigan.
I got Washington. I
know you just don't want Michigan.
No, I got the 40-year-old quarterback. I got the 40-year-old quarterback.
Right. He's up there. He's like 24, about to be 24.
Yeah, I got the 40-year. I'm going with the experience of the older guy.
The old man.